Hey guys, this is Toddy One Skip. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip, and Toddy One Skip I am. So, a little bit different and a lot different to some people. So, this is not about Scientology. So, let me just put that out there. This way, nobody thinks that there's a clickbait or anything going on here. I have other interests. Those people that are wondering why I'm mentioning that, it's because something happened with some Scientology channels that I was responding to. But anyway, I want to also stay interested in the things that I'm interested in. So, Family Chantel, shame on you. Shame on the parents in this family that have made their daughter feel like she wasn't worthy of love. Because I totally believe that Pedro honestly loved their daughter, and they screwed that up. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you. What do you think happens when Chantel watches these videos and sees her mom take enjoyment of Chantel's heartbreak? What is up with the mother in that family that she enjoys seeing her kids in pain? She has nothing in her life but those kids. The husband's afraid to move. He's afraid to ask what bouillon is. And the mother just looks ridiculous. And I wonder how much money you could pay somebody to behave like that. Not that Pedro's family's any better. First of all, I was shocked to see that Scott was back in the picture. To be honest with you, how could that be the case? When this woman the mother, Lydia, has said horrible things about Alejandro. I don't know what kind of guy he was. He wasn't given a fair chance either. Nicole, and I don't like this sister. I think she's a troublemaker too. All these people want people to stay out of their lives, but they just get into their siblings' lives or their children's lives. And I don't see where they're the example for that. If you think that Chantel's parents are an example of a good marriage, why? Because the dad's afraid to move, the dad's afraid to say something. There's something wrong with that. Definitely something wrong with that, I think so. I honestly think that Pedro and Chantel definitely loved each other and had a chance. I think that Chantel was a little too experienced, maybe, or I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. I think she's very selfish. And I think that when she was working, like Pedro said, he kept up with the house and he was her cheerleader and she was just not his cheerleader. And the mother made a comment that they bought a home together. They bought a home together. You know, her daughter and her son-in-law bought a home together so that he could later decide he wants to be a real estate agent. Well, it was because of the purchase of the home that a real estate agent said to him, "You have some talent, and we can definitely use people that speak Spanish. Would you want to consider this?" Because it doesn't cost a real estate agent anything or a real estate broker anything to have that person work under them. That's free money for them. So that's a sales pitch. But it seems like the guy's good at it. So maybe they were right with this guy. But you bitched and complained that the guy didn't work. Now he's working. He's making money. And that's not good enough either. And I was in real estate for a short period of time, about 6 years. I hated it. Absolutely hated it because you are on all the time. You have to market yourself. You have to be out there and all of that. But instead of Chantel being supportive, it seemed like she was jealous. And because of her behavior sometimes, maybe Pedro didn't feel comfortable about sharing what he was doing at work. I don't think Pedro was fooling around. I'll be surprised. If Pedro fooled around on her, I would be surprised. Because I'm going to take him at his word until I learn something different. That's the type of person I am. And I think Pedro might have been a virgin. If he told her he was, I think he probably was, because that's not anything that, you're really proud about. I would think at a certain age you might not, especially a guy, but I could be wrong. So I'm not sure about that. All I know is that there's such venom going through the Family Chantel house that it's abusive. It's abusive. And they're going after this guy, unless this is all just show. If it's all just show, then we all look silly. But they're going after this guy because he's making some sort of success for himself here. And then for Chantel to say, I get what he did now. He's back with the first girl he ever had an interest in. I see the plan now. He married me for 7 years, only to go back with the first girl. How does that make sense? Make that make sense. So I don't agree with that. I think that there's something up with that. And I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm really hopeful that at the end of this show, maybe those two got back together and just let go of the family that was all venomous poison to them. That's what I'm hoping, because I really think that those two loved each other. And I think what screwed them up is their families' input and the hatred. They couldn't get out of their own way to let people enjoy themselves. Chantel's mom, shush, just shush. Stop putting in your kids' heads that they're not worthy of love and that all people want from them is what they can get from them. That is not being a good parent. You have to enforce and put belief in your children that they are good people and worthy of love. Come on. You have to do that. They are worthy of love. They are good people, right? I mean, I don't know, but you should know you're the parent. So it's hard for me to watch the Family Chantel because I get really angry about that, because that's happened in my own family. I didn't let that happen in my relationships, but I watched it happen in my mom's relationship with my dad. I did. I watched my grandparents, take control over that. And I'm not saying that that's why my parents broke up, but it didn't help. It didn't help. Now, thankfully, at the end of my dad's life and at the end of my grandparents' lives, I'm talking about my maternal grandparents and my dad, right? Everything was good. Everything was fine. Everybody was good about it. My parents have been divorced for decades, and they found themselves in the last 20 years of my dad's life being friends again. And my grandparents, especially my grandmother, had a different opinion about my dad. And my dad had a different opinion about my grandmother. And they were able to put that behind them. I'm hoping something like that doesn't take that long in this family. So as I'm watching this Family Chantel, the behavior of the sister, of Pedro's sister, is obscene. I mean, she's behaving like an animal. Like, she didn't appreciate how her mom treated her boyfriend. And first of all, it's not these kids' place to tell their parents who they're dating or who they should be dating. And it's not the parents' place to tell adult children who they should be dating. You hope when you raise your children that you give them enough information that they make the right decision. But you also hope that you taught them that if they made the wrong decision, that they could come home. That they can come home and they could regroup without you saying, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. That is not, to me, a good parent. But watching the behavior, okay, I think Scott was honest. He didn't realize he had feelings for the woman that he stopped talking to, right? We're talking about Family Chantel. For the woman that he stopped talking to, and now all of a sudden, out of the blue, and I believe that because things like that happen, the woman reaches out and talks to him. I don't think that he had sex with the woman in the hotel because the woman, he was just moving way too fast for her, if we remember that episode. So I just can't believe the behavior of these people. And if anybody comments about my hair, that's not nice of you because I have cowlicks everywhere. And it's my day off and I don't have to do anything about that. If it bothers you, don't look at it. So I just can't believe the behavior that's going on. And Pedro, out of the whole family, I'm telling you, Pedro seems to keep his head. It's like he believed Scott. I believe Scott. If he's telling the truth, okay. If he's lying, that's not Pedro's fault. That's not my fault. Believing somebody that tells an untruth doesn't make us look bad unless there's a pattern and we keep believing it. But giving somebody the benefit of the doubt and them lying, that's not our fault, right? That's their fault. We shouldn't be stupid for giving people the benefit of the doubt. That's what makes us humane. We have to give people the benefit of the doubt. But if they show us that was wrongly given, we don't give it to them again, right? So just like this with Pedro and with the assumptions that Chantel has about Pedro, I really do hope that those two end up together and just leaving their family behind at the end of all of this because they're horrible. But the families. But as the show gets more and more, as it takes off more and more, if there's more and more compiled on this crap, they'll never get the chance to see how they felt about each other and that it was really real, I think, for both of them, So you see how fast things happen? Scott's a piece of shit. What did he just say? I mean, at the end of this, he just said something about, I'm just going to have sex with their mom and they're going to know all about it. That's a good guy. Lydia, run for the hills. Not that you deserve anything better because you didn't treat your son and his relationship anything better. There's just such venom here. Poison. And the person that I actually like the most is Pedro. I think he's all right. Okay. So guys, I'm trying to do a few things on YouTube now. I don't want to spread myself too thin. And I have some dogs that need my attention. And we're going to continue with the Family Chantel, because I just think that you don't behave like that. And I think that there's a lot more damage going on there. Do you see what's really going on there? Do you see that an innocent picture? Okay, now listen, he went there. He didn't know that his ex-girlfriend or his ex-friend, somebody that he says he was never physical with, that do you see that they just ended up being friends? Nothing happened. But even if something did, it didn't happen before. And even if something happened before, the thing he'd be guilty of is lying, not having a life before. But giving him the benefit of the doubt, hadn't heard that he'd slept with anybody except that's what Chantel seems to want to believe because of a picture. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, unfortunately, that's where we go a lot of times. We don't go and give people the benefit of the doubt. We don't, And there's times you have to, until you see something that says, you know what I mean? Like I gave Scott the benefit of the doubt. I still don't think he cheated on that girl, but I think he's a complete. Now, he put hands? Come on, man. He put hands on Pedro? Why'd he put hands on Pedro? And still, Pedro handled that like a man. He went and he got his phone and said, let me just show you something. Because he was looking out for his mom. He's got my vote. So, just unbelievable. Family Chantel. No other family needs drama. Just watch theirs. And this is not a sponsor. Guys, have a good one. This is Toddy One Skip. Please like, subscribe, talk in the chat, share. Thank you for making me a part of your day. And be better yesterday than you were today, but not half as good as you're going to be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.